Good morning, everyone. My name is David Lindberg, and I'm the Director of Admissions and Alumni Relations here at KIS. Thank you for joining us today for our Spring KIS Connects info session. I'm happy to say that we have families from all over the world tuning in to hear what makes KIS, KIS. Today, you'll hear from our director, Michelle Quirin, our middle school principal, Jim Slade, and our middle school counselor, Jennifer Yu. Before we begin, I'd like to establish a couple of goals for today's program. First, we want to allow you to meet some of the people at our school and begin to feel comfortable. Second, we want to make sure that you learn what makes KIS, KIS. And then we want to ensure that all of your questions are answered. Before we begin, if you would like Korean translation, please enable the chat function in this webinar. If you have questions that you'd like answered personally, please do so using the Q&A tab. This option will also stay open after this program's over and will be answered by people on this panel. Without further ado, our school director, Michelle Quirin.
Good morning. We are thrilled to be welcoming you to KIS. Thank you for tuning in from around the world to learn more about how we empower our students to design the future. The mission of KIS is to inspire a passion for learning and to cultivate the competence, self-assurance, initiative, creativity necessary for success in the global community. Our efforts at KIS are guided by our core values. First and foremost, to develop a sense of global citizenship, which all starts with developing a sense of empathy, learning to understand different perspectives of our students and faculty coming to us from around the world, to prepare students to interact with others and to recognize the differences that enrich us all throughout their lives. Our second core value is adaptability. Understanding that students have the opportunity to participate in authentic problem-solving activities, to prepare them to examine current context, question critically, and be ready to adapt as necessary to meet their future goals. Our students are engaged in highly rigorous programs, but with a high level of support throughout their KIS experience. And this leads to a sense of empowerment. Students understand that they are capable and resilient and able to work through and overcome the adversity we're all sure to experience in life. And that if they recognize something in the world that should be better, they have the power to start taking action to make it so. It's also really important, especially for our middle school students, to remember balance in life. We want students to have opportunity to explore a wide range of courses and co-curricular programs to find what really keeps them excited and keeps the fun in learning. And of course, in all things, we want students to operate, and all of our faculty and staff, with a high level of integrity, to really understand the impact of our actions and decisions, and to make decisions in a responsible way. We're really fortunate at KIS to have a true middle school philosophy in place. Our teachers share the energy and enthusiasm of our middle school learners and are with them all the way through that unique time of transformation and development. Our teachers have an average of over 10 years experience and come to us primarily from North America, from the US and Canada, but increasingly from other countries around the world. A large percentage of our faculty also have advanced degrees. Our tagline at KIS is to design your future. And in our planning and reflection, we're continually looking for what students will need in their future lives and are focused on continual school improvement to help our programs evolve. One of the most unique features that you'll find throughout all of the educational programs at KIS is our applied learning program. Again, where students have the opportunity to engage in authentic problem solving, where they are looking at their learning not just as a separate history class or science class, but where they're really thinking and acting as scientists, diplomats, economists, and applying their learning throughout the entire process. most commonly in that state needing to combine information from multiple disciplines, synthesize their learning from multiple programs to solve the problems they're working on. We also have a robust experiential education program, which builds student confidence by taking their learning oftentimes out of the classroom into field experience or authentic situations throughout the community. Over the past year, we've really invested heavily in better using all of our campus space when we weren't able, due to COVID restrictions, to be able to travel out into the community as much as we're accustomed to, looking to continue meeting those learning needs by using our spaces on campus to provide many of those rich experiences. We also have an active STEM program throughout our elementary, middle, and high school, where we're combining learning from science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, so that students are, again, really thinking in that applied learning vein. We also have many opportunities for co-curriculars in our middle school program. Some of our clubs and activities are built into the day, where students will have opportunity to participate in an academic, social, service, or athletic club, and then also have opportunity for after-school sessions to participate in co-curriculars and Saturday jamborees. We also offer intersession programs during our winter break and summer months. Most of our students at KIS are highly successful in achieving at ridiculous rates all the time, continually impressing us with all they are able to learn and be able to do through their applied learning. But we also know it's important to have early identification and to meet students where they are in that learning continuum. We've recently adopted increased standards-based progress, and our middle school has been leading the charge in that. And that is such an important thing with, again, this unique time of development where we want students to not lose that confidence as they go into adolescence, and to help them determine develop the perseverance they need to continue to achieve at high levels. So when students need additional enrichment and extension of their learning to stay excited about their schooling, we're able to provide that. And when students need additional support and scaffolding to meet the learning targets, we also have a wide range of specialists available to support them in working through those hurdles and continuing toward their learning goals. The experience we provide at KIS prepares our students to matriculate to outstanding universities around the world. At this time, I'll turn it over to our middle school principal to tell you more information about our specific middle school programs. Welcome, Mr. Jim Slade.
Thank you, Michelle, and good morning, everyone. I am Jim Slade. As she said, I'm the middle school principal, and I've had the pleasure of being the middle school principal here for the last 4 years. Next year will be number 5, and we're really excited to continue the teamwork that we have done here. On the next slide here, I wanted to just introduce to you, if you are interested in KS, knowing some of the important people here. There's my name. Eric Majors is our middle school associate principal. He has been at KIS for a long time. He was previously our band director, so he has a lot of experience here. Miss Jennifer Yu is our middle school counselor, and you will hear from her a little bit later. And Mrs. Kelly Park, who is our middle school administrative assistant, and someone that as parents or students are new to our school, they get to connect with her a lot to learn about the school. Now I want to talk a little bit about how we approach things as a middle school. In the middle school, we see our role as really working to transition our students from the elementary school learning experience and developmental stage into middle school learners that are then prepared to the next step, which is high school. And we focus on 3 areas here on the slide. You can see them. Obviously, we want our students to grow academically, and that's really important to us. But at the same time, we also want to look into what is best for them socially and emotionally. And it is really important to us that we expose our middle school students to new experiences, new ideas, and new learning. Oftentimes, when you're young, everything that you're exposed to is new, but we want to make sure that in middle school, we continue to enhance and grow that. And finally, a big part of what we do in the middle school is trying to build a sense of community and to really foster the relationships, not just between our students, but amongst our students and our teachers as well. So we'll speak about academics next. Our focus is on personalized learning. Mrs. Quirin spoke to this, but we want to do what is most appropriate for each individual student. We are a standards-based middle school. So our feedback and what we give to our students is all relative to this standard. And I'm happy to answer questions on this at some point, but we really want our students to be able to know where they are in their learning and to focus on improving themselves relative to that standard, as opposed to focusing just on what grade they have. And our students are doing that now and doing an excellent job. I'll talk a little bit more about the classes our students take. You can see them listed there. All of our students take English, science, math, social studies, physical education, and one world language. And our students in grade 6 will take a wheel course. I'll speak about that later, and a music elective. And in grade 7 and 8, our students get a little bit more choice with the electives they take. So just the next slide will just show you a kind of an overview of what our students' schedules look like. They have 8 classes in total, and they take 4 each day. On the next slide here, and we'll hold the next slide up for just a minute, we'll show you sort of what it looks like. Our students take 4 classes each day. In the middle of those classes, there is lunch, and there is also our advisory and activity time. But our students alternate between 4 classes each day, so that when they think of their workload, they have a schedule that is balanced. And so those 8 classes that were on the previous slide are taken over the course of a 2-day cycle. And we rotate this year every 2 days. In the past, we've had rotations that are every 2 days with a tumbling schedule every 6. I want to talk a little bit about our elective classes and the wheel on the next slide here. Our grade 6 students take what we call the elective wheel. I want to spend just a second, because this sometimes is a new concept or challenging to understand. Our 6th grade wheel course is divided into roughly 9-week sections, 4 9-week sections. And our students are exposed to 4 different areas to help them understand maybe where their interests might be. They are taught an introductory course on computers, which has to do with digital citizenship, some design aspects of computing. And then the second course they're introduced to is design. So they're learning about what it would be like to do engineering, physically working with materials, and thinking through that design process, the design thinking process. The next course that they take as part of this section is art. Again, exposed to multiple different types of art, so that they can see where they might have an interest. And finally, our students are introduced to a class we call performance and presentation. You might think of it as drama. We really want to help our grade 6 students become more comfortable with speaking in public or on Zoom, and exploring the idea of acting and being active as drama students. And even if they don't do that later, we want them to be able to speak to that and be able to be comfortable in that setting. The next slide will show you the courses our students can choose from in grades 7 and 8. On the left of your screen, you see the music choices. Our grade 6 students have these choices as well, but we have band courses, choir courses, and orchestra courses. And we have these in auditioned and non-auditioned type classes. So even if students have no experience playing an instrument, there's still a band class or an orchestra class for them. And if they have no experience with vocal music, there's still choir classes available for them. And there are also classes available for students who have played an instrument for a number of years. So that is one of the elective options that students have. And those courses are year long. Then we have semester long courses, which are in the next box, you see art courses. And I'm proud to say that this next year, we will be introducing an introductory course to ceramics, and students will be able to do that. But there are multiple art courses that are available, visual arts, as well as the ceramics course. We also have drama courses available where students can practice monologues, gives a lot of students experience preparing for an interest in theater productions, but they don't necessarily have to be interested in doing that as well. And we also have a stagecraft course, which is using skills you learn to do set design and help with props and things like that for productions. As well as those courses, we have engineering courses, individual engineering and collaborative engineering. And we also have a couple of robotics courses. And we have a couple of different computer courses, one focused more on physical computing and programming, and one focused on more of an introductory level for creative computing. And then again, our last class here on the elective slide on the right-hand side is yearbook. Our yearbook is designed and organized and led by our middle school students. We have teachers that work with them, but it is an application process, and they spend the entire school year working on the yearbook, from taking the photos to writing the captions to designing the layout. And so our students do that, and it's something that we're really proud of that they get to do. So those are our elective courses. And at this point, I would love to introduce you to Miss Jennifer Yu, our middle school counselor, who's going to talk a little bit more about some of the things I mentioned earlier. Miss Yu, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Yu, and I am the middle school counselor here at KIS. And I am so excited to be speaking with you this morning. One of my favorite parts of my job is working with families. As Ms. Quirin said at the beginning of this presentation, middle school is definitely a time of incredible growth, and also just a really unique time in which students are learning more about themselves, their interests, and so forth. And so I love working with families in going through this journey together with them. And so this morning I wanted to take some time to speak specifically about our different programs here at the middle school that foster relationships, not only with students, but also with our teachers here at KIS. Because as Mr. Slade said, fostering those relationships throughout middle school is something that we truly value and that we place a lot of importance on. Excellent. So if I'm going to start with talking about our advisory program. So our advisory program, how I like to explain it to our parents is it's kind of like a homeroom. And so advisory is built into the middle of the school day, and it takes place every single day. And a student is placed into an advisory with an advisory teacher, and with a small group of students that are in the same grade as that student is. And that student will stay with their advisory group and with their advisory teacher throughout the entire school year. And so advisory is a time where students can maybe do an activity together as an advisory group, building those relationships with not only their fellow peers, but also their advisory teacher. There might be some lessons that are presented, maybe lessons on organization or how to ask for help from teachers and so forth. And then advisory may also just be a time for students to, take a break from their busy day, maybe just relax, play some games, just connect with their advisory peers and also their teacher. And so that's what advisory is. We also have something called our house team. And what that is on a house team, you have a 6th grade advisory, a 7th grade advisory, and an 8th grade advisory. And every now and then, the house team will come together and do activities, get to know each other. And our purpose in establishing the house team is so that students can meet other students across all grade levels and also meet teachers from different grade levels as well. And so if we have a 6th grade student who on their house team, they may, meet a 7th or 8th grade teacher, like the following year, they'll be able to know who those teachers are and have a few more familiar faces as they move up through middle school. Excellent. So we also wanted to talk about some support programs that we have in place to help students with the transition to middle school, whether they are coming up from elementary school or whether they are completely new to KIS. And so we do have a new student orientation that takes place in the fall. And this is for any student who is new to KIS middle school. And what that entails is we have presentations from our administration. We also share students' schedules with them, and we give them an opportunity to walk their schedule, to visit their classrooms, and also to meet their teachers, which I know can be kind of nerve-wracking for them, especially on the first day. So this new student orientation gives them a chance to get used to their schedule and also get used to our school before the first day of school. We also have some sort of like pairing system in which any new student who is coming into KIS, we will match them with a current student or a buddy, as we like to call it. And so this buddy will make sure that the new student knows where their classrooms are at. They'll kind of show them the ropes of the school, like what's the best way to get from point A to point B. Also, this buddy is in charge of helping that new student uh, on their first couple of days here at school, navigate the cafeteria. I know that can be kind of really, that can be a nervous experience for a new student walking into a new cafeteria without really knowing anyone. And so we do have that buddy system in place just to help that student ease into their transition here at KIS. Other programs and support systems that we have in place to foster connections, we do have clubs here at KIS. They do take place during advisory. They are not after school, so they do take place during the school day. And clubs are either, they can be student-led or teacher-led. And what's really exciting here at the middle school is that as students are really, coming into their own interests and wanting to take on, more leadership and maybe some more roles that require independence, I've had a few students here at the middle school start their own clubs, which have been really successful and really exciting to see. We also have something called experiential education. We like to call it EE for short. And these are trips that we take during the school day twice a year in the fall and in the spring. Pre-COVID, we had a trip in the fall, which was overnight. So 3 days, 2 nights. And then a one-day trip in the spring. And so hopefully moving forward, as the situation here gets better, we are hoping to engage in those EE trips again. Wonderful. And then lastly, I would like to talk about our middle school athletics program, which is very robust. We have a number of seasons here at the middle school. You can see on the presentation the various activities that we offer. I am actually very proud of our athletics program, and I've been very fortunate to be able to participate as a coach in our athletics program. And again, this is another great way for students to interact and to socialize and to be together outside of the classroom. In addition to the sports that you see here on the screen, we've also had other activities such as academic bowl, chess club. We just introduced a tumbling club this season. And so lots of new activities are always springing up, and yeah, just different ways for students to express their interests and also engage with other students and teachers. Excellent. So at this time, I would like to turn the presentation back to Mr. Lindberg from our admissions team. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Jim, Michelle, and Jennifer, great job. Hopefully everyone who is watching this is seeing how passionate our leadership team and our teachers are in general for KIS and everything that we have to offer. It's now my pleasure to share with you our admissions overview, our practices, and really how we start working with families in hopefully an understandable way, meaning the who, what, when, where, and how of how we do things and assist families in general. First, I think it's important to know the who and who our students and who our families are. Our first category is going to be our families who have foreign parents. It's exactly what it sounds like. 70% of our students in each grade have at least one parent who holds a foreign passport. I'm happy to share with you that we have students from over 25 different countries here on our campus, and in their home, over 15 languages are spoken. To say the least, this makes up an extremely diverse student population, a number of different perspectives coming to our campus, and I'm happy to say as much learning happens outside of the classroom, just in interaction as probably within. The second category is going to be our 3-year overseas students. Again, exactly what it sounds like. Our students who have spent 3 years, Korean students who have spent the minimum of 3 years for a total of 1,095 days outside of Korea. Parents are Korean citizens, hold Korean passports, and this makes up 30% of each of our grade levels. In our middle school and in our high school, I think this really makes for a very competitive applicant pool and even current students, both in and outside of the classroom. As of now, for our 21-22 school year, for this group of students, we do have a wait list for our grade 6 all the way up until grade 10. Next, I'd like to share with you the what, meaning our application and the process in general. I'm happy to share with all of our prospective students and families that we do offer rolling admissions. What this means is throughout the course of the year, if a family's moving, if they're looking for a change in education system, for the most part, we are able to at least begin conversations and see what type of fit we could be. For some grades, meaning, and some families over the course of the year, for others, and potentially our 3-year overseas students, it may not be at all points just because seats may not be available. Our application can be found strictly online, first using our Open Apply application, which can be found at kiskr.openapply.com, can also be found from our admissions page or from our virtual open house page, which we'll talk about later on. We have designed this to be extremely user-friendly, and all documents should be able to be uploaded through your individual applications. Please know throughout this entire process, our office is here to help, and I think we will give you a number of different opportunities and options to connect with us. It can be through email, it can be with a phone call, through Skype or a Zoom platform like this. Also, in the world we're living in right now, some applicants may be able to complete the entire application process, including an interview, totally remotely. The next section is the when. For the 21-22 school year, our application went live beginning on December 1st. We have been working with families from December 1st, having them formally apply, submit documents to us, and even go through the application and securing seats for this upcoming school year. We will continue with this process up until the early part of the summer and really work with families and hopefully meet you where you are and answer all those questions that you may have as thoroughly as possible. Again, although we are rolling admissions, we do have a preferred application date especially in our middle school and high school with our 3-year overseas students. That date has come and gone. Please know with students who may be on our waiting list or still considering applying and potentially being on our wait list, seats only become available if one of our current students and families do decide to leave KIS for a potential job move or other things that may be going on. Also, we are still accepting applications for students with foreign parents. And again, we'll work with you, to make the process as streamlined as possible, as we do understand that potential moves, relocating for jobs, it's stressful. If we can take some of that off your plate, we'd be happy to. As you are preparing to potentially apply and consider a school such as KIS, understand that the application process does take time. So please plan accordingly and do things in advance. Over years of doing this, our entire staff has learned that it adds additional stress to the student and family if you're trying to do things too quickly and without allowing time. So if you are looking at a start of a semester to transition to KIS, or you already know your relocation date or potential move date, start the process as soon as you can. Finally, it's not too early to begin collecting documents. With some families outside of Korea, in non-English speaking countries, we will require translation of your documents, notarization of your documents. If you're submitting standardized testing, that takes time to pull together, as well as recommendations. With so many schools going virtual right now, it may take a little time to get those recommendations lined up with your current teachers. The where. Again, our application is 100% online and can be found at kiskr.openapply.com or on those 2 pages on our website, the application, the admissions page, as well as our online or virtual open house page, and all documents are uploadable. Please know that families from abroad with recent standardized testing results, you very well could be able to conduct remote interviews with us and navigate your way through the process right from your home and without having to come to our campus. Students here in Korea without standardized testing or transferring to a school, to our school, coming from a non-international school, we will ask you to come to campus for a on-campus assessment and to work with our office personally. Know that our office is here to assist you every step of the way, and we're happy to answer any questions along the way through email, phone, Skype, or Zoom, and that our office will work with you in both English and Korean. Some extra little tidbits to know. I'm so happy to share with you that we're now able to welcome prospective families to campus, but with safeguards in place. For the past several months, our campus has been closed for visitors, but now outside of school hours, when students are not here on campus, we will allow you to come and meet with us, tour our campus, and really see what makes us so special. We will also, on school holidays, it may be an option also, and we'll work with you the best we can. Something else I'd like to share with you is we do understand that all students and families have such diverse interests and want that to come to play in the school that your child may be attending. If you do have some of those diverse interests, we would be happy to connect you with our specialists or teachers here on campus. Feel free to use our office as a go-between, and we'll be able to set up a connection to have all of those questions answered for you by people that are walking the walk every day. Please feel free to stay connected with our school and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and just learn more about the everyday life here on campus. And we have shared with you some ways to connect with us that way. Next, the hows. Please know that our office is here to help you however we can during these challenging times. Make sure that all of those questions, no matter how silly or out there you may think they are, we're here to help you and make sure that you're comfortable with this huge move. We are available most days via email, phone, Skype, and Zoom. And again, we do have both Korean and English speakers within our office who are well-versed when it comes to the eligibility of attending an international school here in Korea, enrollment practices, and then probably most importantly, just the culture of KIS and what our students and faculty and staff are all about. I do welcome you to visit our school website, which is listed right here. It does offer a tremendous amount of helpful information. Also, visit the admissions page, as well as our virtual open house section to watch videos, take a virtual tour with one of our students, and to spend a day in the life of a current student. Please let us know how we can help you and your family and see how KIS can help you design your future. For the next several minutes, we'll be available through the Q&A tab. These questions will be answered confidentially and answered to you directly. Also, if you'd like to schedule a personal follow-up, whether it's through Zoom or Skype or a potential visit to our campus, please contact our office. We'd be happy to work with you. Finally, at the end of this program, you will receive a survey coming from our office. Please take a few minutes to go through and let us know your thoughts. We're always looking to better our practices and make sure that we're answering questions as thoroughly as possible. So please do us a favor and answer that brief survey. With our Q&A section, I am happy to share that everyone on our panel will be able to chime in based on the type of question. So thank you all for your time today. It was a pleasure being able to speak with you. And we really look forward to connecting with you moving forward and seeing if your family and your student and child could be a good fit for our school. Thank you again.